Steroids linked to brain decline. Taiwan fires warning shots at unidentified drone. Taiwan supplying mortar-firing drones to Ukraine. U.S. Navy forces Iran to return seized American sea drone. Last Soviet leader dies at 91 years old. First ship carrying grain from Ukraine docks on Horn of Africa. Japan to ease tourism restrictions. Miss England finalist becomes first to compete without makeup.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's Thursday, September 1st, and here are your top stories. A new study found oral or inhaled glucocorticoids may be linked to damaging changes in the white matter of the brain. In addition to asthma, both oral and inhaled glucocorticoids can be used to treat allergies, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, eczema, skin conditions, lupus, tendinitis, osteoarthritis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Experts said glucocorticoids are some of the most frequently prescribed anti-inflammatory medications due to their widespread use in a number of conditions.
White matter is the tissue that forms connections between brain cells and the rest of the nervous system. Having less white matter can slow the brain's ability to process information, pay attention, and remember the past. Lower levels of white matter have also been connected to psychiatric issues such as depression, anxiety, and irritability. Doctors recommend taking as few oral corticosteroids as possible, as long as you are not a patient with severe asthma, and discuss the matter with your physician.
CNN cited a statement of the Kingman Defense Command as reporting that Taiwanese soldiers on Tuesday fired flares at 3 unidentified drones that flew near Kingman County, an offshore grouping of islands where China had bombarded from 1958 to 1979, before firing warning shots at one drone which re-entered the area above one of the islands. Michael O'Hanlon, Director of Research and Foreign Policy at Brookings Institution, said, "Given the tension right now, everything like this has the potential to blow up."
Taiwan's national news outlet, the Central News Agency, reported late at night on August 31st that Taiwanese army units in Kinmen County fired live rounds in the direction of Chinese drones flying in the airspace of the offshore county on 3 separate occasions and in different locations on Wednesday evening. According to the Army's Kinmen Defense Command, the drones, identified as civilian models, flew close to several islets between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. After the troops' warning, the drones flew towards Xiamen in China.
The Defense Post cited a Taiwanese outlet CN Media as reporting Taiwan is delivering armed drones to Ukraine through Poland. The Post said CN Media first revealed the drone's presence in the Ukraine war, citing a Ukrainian Defense Forces video claiming that the drone fired a mortar at a Russian soldier wielding a shoulder-fired rocket, knocking him to the ground. The manufacturer, Drones Vision, revealed that it sold the drones to a Polish buyer and that the unmanned platform was then forwarded onto Ukraine.
According to the Taiwan-based manufacturer, Drone Vision's Revolver 860 is a vertical takeoff and landing rotor drone capable of carrying 8 mortars. It weighs 42 kilograms and can fly for 40 minutes up to 20 kilometers with a full payload. Although the drone's weapons bay is designed to carry 8 60mm mortars, it can be customized for other munitions. According to defense investigative platform Ornix, Taiwan has also delivered 10 Evolve 2 reconnaissance vertical takeoff and landing drones and AR-15 rifle parts to Ukraine.
According to U.S. officials, Iran's paramilitary Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps seized an American sea drone Wednesday in the Persian Gulf and tried to tow it away, only releasing the unmanned vessel when a U.S. Navy warship and helicopter approached. The media reported that a Fifth Fleet spokesman, Commander Timothy Hawkins, said that late on Monday night, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard's Shahid Bazaar warship attached a line to the sail drone Explorer in the central part of the Persian Gulf in international waters.
According to the media, the Iranian vessel then began towing the sail drone Explorer, which carries cameras, radars, and sensors for remotely monitoring the sea. A naval coastal patrol boat, the USS Thunderbolt, and an MH-60 Seahawk helicopter moved to shadow the IRGC ship. The U.S. Navy called Shahid Bazaar by radio to identify the drone as American. After some 4 hours, the Iranians unhooked the tow line to the drone and left the area as American forces were nearby.
Mikhail Gorbachev, the former Soviet leader who brought the Cold War to a peaceful end and to the demise of the communism across Central and Eastern Europe, has died aged 91. The U.S. President Joe Biden said Gorbachev was a man of remarkable vision. He was brave enough to embrace democratic reforms and nuclear disarmament. French President Emmanuel Macron said Gorbachev's commitment to peace in Europe changed our common history. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the world has lost a towering global leader.
Gorbachev was the first and last president of the Soviet Union. He became the General Secretary of the Communist Party in 1985, aged just 53, a post he held until the party was itself dissolved in 1991, with the Soviet Union vanishing soon afterwards. Russian news agencies cited hospital officials as saying on Tuesday the 1990 Nobel Peace Prize laureate had died after a difficult and protracted illness. Gorbachev will be buried in Moscow next to his wife, Razia.
The first ship carrying grain from Ukraine for people in the hungriest parts of the world has docked at Djibouti, on the Horn of Africa. The UN World Food Programme said this first shipment of grain will be sent overland to northern Ethiopia, where millions of people have been affected by the Tigray conflict. How any of the grain will reach Tigray is in question, as road and air routes have been blocked during fighting. However, Ethiopia's neighboring Amhara and Afar regions are expected to benefit.
The WFP has said the 23,000 metric tons of grain on the first ship are enough to feed 1.5 million people on full rations for a month. But the UN has said in Tigray alone, 2.4 million people are facing severe food shortages, and that 20 million people across Ethiopia face hunger. Food security experts have said it could take weeks for people in African countries to receive grain from Ukraine, and even longer for the grain to bring down high food prices that have caused despair and provoked protests in many countries.
Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on Wednesday that Japan will allow non-escorted visitors on package tours and raise the daily arrival cap to 50,000 starting September 7th. The media said that the latest announcement will be a welcome news for the country's battered tourism industry, as stricter guided tours have proven to be unpopular with foreign tourists. Last week, Kishida said Japan will drop pre-arrival PCR tests from September 7th if passengers have received 3 shots of an approved vaccine.
The media said the latest move marked Japan taking a significant step towards putting the country's border restrictions on par with other major economies in a bid to attract overseas visitors wanting to take advantage of a weakening yen. Japan has been allowing foreign tourists into the country since June, but only on guided tours. The new rules mean that tourists on non-guided package tours can visit the country. It was not immediately clear what criteria will be used to determine what constitutes a package tour.
The Miss England finalist Melissa Raouf, a 20-year-old college student from South London, has become the first ever beauty queen to compete without wearing any makeup in the pageant's newly century-long history. She moved forward at the pageant's semi-finals on Monday after opting for a bare-faced look. Now she will compete in the finals this October for the crown. Raouf said, "It means a lot to me as I feel many girls of different ages wear makeup because they feel pressure to do so."
Raouf said in an interview with The Independent, "If one is happy in their own skin, we should not be made to cover up our face with makeup. Our flaws make us who we are, and that's what makes every individual unique." She said, "I never felt I met beauty standards. I have recently accepted that I am beautiful in my own skin, and that's why I decided to compete with no makeup." In May, Raouf posted a selfie on Instagram of the competition, writing that she was embracing blemishes and imperfections.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.